Systems course. In this lecture that we will understand Gaussian protocol. So we will see how Gaussian protocol used in distributed systems. First, let's see some Gaussian protocol. So normally let's consider a simple system without a Gaussian protocol. Let's say this is a list of nodes. These are list of nodes in a distributed system. Now the client wants to do some operations such as read or write or do some tasks. So how the client knows which machines to do or which machines to communicate, which machines to invoke the operations or which machines to read or write. So we already seen in a previous tutorial the first distributed file system that we have one special node called name node which maintains a list of all the nodes that is in the cluster, which are all the data nodes in the cluster. So this is kind of like a name node. Now the client will ask the name node, then it will communicate. Then the node will return the list of nodes that it can communicate. Then it will directly make the request to the node. This is how it works. This is one of the ways that we see in a distributed system, file system, that we are able to read and write data. This is applicable to database also. For example, if we have a list of databases and we want to execute some queries on a particular database that resides on a particular machine, then we should know the IP address, so that can be maintained in a separate machine, kind of like a master node. This machine can maintain the list of IP databases and IP addresses, and for the user, for example, this machine has a particular user data, and for the respective user, this has a metadata of everything. So the client directly can talk to this node, then can talk to the respective node. This is the one way of setting up the distributed system. So other way is that there is no node. For example, in order to maintain a metadata, we have a separate node here. Now we can delete this node. We have only data nodes, or we have only databases. We have multiple databases. Let's say we have multiple databases. We have multiple databases, but there is no central node. So each node has to know some about the other nodes in the system. Otherwise, the client makes a request here. That request maybe belongs to this machine or this machine. So it has to query the data from here to this machine. Then it has written the response. The same way that the request goes here, this machine has to know about all the nodes in the cluster in a distributed system. So it makes the request to the respective node and get the response, and then it will return the response. So in order to know every node, in order to know every other nodes in the systems, so there must be some kind of communication protocol. Since we don't have a centralized node for communication, so all the metadata about all those machines are maintained in the respective machines. So how each node knows about the other nodes, how it exchange information across other nodes. So when we create a setup like this, that we can all the nodes are equal. There is no leader. This is a leaderless setup. So we can consider all the nodes are leader. So each node has the same responsibility, but there are some special nodes. These are the same nodes, but there is some special role here. Let's say it's called seed nodes. The purpose of seed nodes is here when we add a new node into the cluster, we will start with the seed nodes. So it will start with the seed nodes. It will communicate with the seed nodes about the cluster. Initially, there are only two nodes in the setup, Then every node we when we add another node in the system, that it will communicate with the C node. Then this node will communicate with the other nodes. For example, it will communicate with one or two nodes, not all the other nodes in the system. So here how the gossip protocol works. Gossip is something like in real life that we normally do gossip. One person talks to the two or more person, then that person will talk to two or more person. So in this way that everybody knows about the particular gossip or secret. This is how it works. First, let's say that this node communicate with these two nodes, or send heartbeats to the nodes, and this one send heartbeats to these two nodes. Same way this one sends heartbeats to these nodes. So each node sends heartbeats to other nodes, so they know about each other. So they share some information, kind of like a IP address and some extra metadata that the node contains. So when the new node is added, for example here, we are adding a new node to the cluster with the seed node. The seed node will return some data about the node in this cluster, so it will communicate with the other two nodes or three nodes in the system. For example, here this one and this one. So in this way, so for example, in this, if this node wants to know about this node, if this node wants to know about this node, how this works. This node shares information to this node, then this node shares information to this node. Finally, this node will know about the node that is added here. This way, all the nodes share state across all those machines. So every node knows about each other. In this way, when the new request comes, it can directly talk to any of the machines to store and retrieve data. So this is how the gossip protocol works. It has a variety of, it is used in a variety of applications. For example, in database such as Cassandra, DynamoDB. In database such as Cassandra, DynamoDB, that we have a gossip protocol. They share them. They communicate with each other. The nodes that is in the Cassandra DynamoDB, they share information about each other. Also, they send heartbeats to other nodes with the gossip protocol. So this is how this is what is gossip protocol, and this is how it works. In the next section we will see some more things about the distributed systems.